I'd like to welcome you to tonight's Physical Sciences Fund announcement. Before we begin the formal proceedings, I would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and to all the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. So, my name is Dharmika Mistry. I'm Head of MedTech and Biotech at Cicada Innovations, Australia's home of deep tech, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. I just want to firstly say, as I said a second ago, it's really cool to be in the room. I've been at Tech 23 all day, and one of the things that I've been able to pull away from being in person at these events is that we have a lot of amazing people and an amazing community right here in our own backyard, and it's really great to be here today to be celebrating more exciting people, and it's my great pleasure to host you this evening. So, we're going to be shining a light on some really amazing technologies emerging from New South Wales, and of course announcing who is successful in the third round of this Physical Sciences Fund. So I thank you all for being here, both in person and online, to share in these celebrations. I'd also like to thank the Honourable Gabrielle Upton, who's at the front row here, Parliamentary Secretary to the Premier, for attending tonight. I also welcome our New South Wales Chief Scientist and Engineer, Professor Hugh Durrant-White, and the Chair of the Physical Sciences Fund, Professor Annabel Duncan. Tonight we're going to hear from all three of you leaders who are rallying around our New South Wales innovators and helping to foster this amazing supportive environment that we're building. And then of course we'll hear from basically the announcement about who's doing what as well. So we'll have a good time tonight. Housekeeping is what I have to tell you. So left and right, the green signs are the emergency exits. The female bathroom is out that door on the left, and as Bruce put it, it's a dog leg to the men's bathroom. It's a golfing term apparently, so you go a little left-right and you end up at the men's bathroom. So I learnt something new. Okay, so a bit about what I'm doing at Cicada Innovations. So I work for Cicada Innovations. It's a Sydney-based incubator with a 20-year track record for helping to develop deep tech ventures that are basically working to solve the world's most pressing problems. And at Cicada Innovations, we work right across medtech, biotech, agri-food tech, energy, robotics and space. So there's a lot of different things that we get to do, but the best thing that we get to do is work with people that are doing amazing things. So we get to meet them, we get to support them, and some of those people are very much like the people we're going to meet tonight. And in my role, I get to help mentor and coach them every single day. So I see this stuff every single day, and it's a real buzz. I can easily say it's a real buzz. So I have to say, it's been another challenging year, but I'm also really proud to say that in deep tech this year, we've seen over $265 million of investment go into some of the ventures, and that's just some of the Cicada alum and people that we know. So you can imagine what's out there and what's been invested in this year, and it tells you a lot about what we're doing, how important it is, and how valuable it is. So cheers to that. Just on a very quick personal note, I've actually been on this journey myself. So I spent a decade developing a blood test for breast cancer detection as a research scientist, so it was from a very small idea. And that journey actually began with me having my eureka moment on the SAX beam at the Australian synchrotron many, many moons ago. So I was propelled into that world of commercialisation at a really young age. And the question that I had was, what is commercialisation? Why is everyone talking about this? And I still recall wondering what it all meant. Especially when you've come from a traditional scientific background. And what I quickly found out was that it meant that I didn't know anything. And I thought, that's okay, I need to learn more and stretch my learning beyond perhaps what I'm comfortable with. And I needed help and support, and I think that was the bottom line. So it's never a journey that you take on your own. It's never a straightforward journey. And although I started my journey back in 2008, some things haven't changed. And in our role at Cicada, we see a lot of people coming through our doors, but what we see time and time and time again is that people that are translating an idea need support. So that support can be many things. It can be mentorship, it can be coaching, it can be training, it can be deep expertise, it can be funding, connections, critical feedback. It could be someone in your ear saying this is an excellent idea, someone advising you on a strategy, or an injection of cash, which is always handy. But they're all equally important things. So although the government is putting some of that into some of the people here tonight, we still all have a role to play at all the different stages of these innovations. And we have to do it as a collective. We all have a contribution with our own skills, our networks, and our own war stories. I think that's a really important one that everyone underestimates. so that we can create a sustainable ecosystem with a sense of purpose and with a philosophy of paying it forward. I think that's something we do really well at Cicada, not to gloat, but we do that, and I think everybody in this ecosystem is very friendly and does that too. So it's fundamental to our success in this space and as a state. And that's why an initiative such as the Physical Sciences Fund and also the Medical Devices Fund are crucial to our startup ecosystem. So these funds are important because when you're solving a really hard problem, the journey is much longer. You need a lot more support from a lot more people for a really long time. And if as a state, we want to continue to foster incredible innovations that help us build a better world, we need to come together and play to our strengths and build a safe, supportive and valuable foundation for our clinicians, researchers and budding entrepreneurs. So I am a firm believer that science, technology, engineering and mathematics are powerful disciplines that give us, everyday people, the chance to shape the world we wish to see. And I don't say that lightly, I say it as a fact. Researchers, clinicians, and people in their everyday lives are the ones that are experiencing the problems that truly need solving. And we as a state continue to churn out these incredible ideas, and we get to see it every day, for solutions that can build a better world and a better future. And support mechanisms like this fund allow us to nurture that innovation, see it benefit our society, and create a strong economic impact as we create more global businesses. And I say global because we are going to, and we do build global businesses. So a fund like this goes a long way in the life of an early stage idea, and I'm sure we'll hear what that means and what it empowers the recipients to do a little later on. And I'm going to be quiet now because it's now my turn to invite the Honourable Gabrielle Upton up to deliver her address. If you don't mind, please joining us up here.
Good evening, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Maybe I need to bring this a little bit closer. There we go. Thank you very much, Dharmika, and thank you for sharing your experience of being an entrepreneur in the deep tech space, which we know is one of the most challenging of innovation sectors to work in and to be an entrepreneur in. I wanted to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we gather today and pay my respects to elders past and present. I firstly want to thank Hugh Durrant-White, who's been my collaborator over the last 2 years for work in the research translation space, which has become a real feature of our government, most recently with the Premier making some very significant pronouncements about that in his Bradfield address. The first really serious, I would say, landmark address for a new Premier. So that, if anything, is a measure of the impact of the work that Hugh's group has done in government over a number of years. And before him, of course, Mary O'Kane, who'd be well known to you. I wanted to acknowledge also Annabelle Duncan, who's head of our Expert Advisory Committee, and of course our expert advisors, Martin Dersma, Rosa Marl, I haven't seen here tonight, Simon Poole and Tony Rees. Tony, I'll come back to in a moment. You're all there. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Also to acknowledge, because I acknowledged Danica, is also to acknowledge Sally Ann Williams, who does an extraordinary amount of work with very little in the space of deep tech innovation. So congratulations for her work. And there are 2 companies who are awardees tonight that I know she's had a strong association with. So now we're somewhat open. In fact, today we're actually open in New South Wales to a more normal way, I suppose, of living our lives. And that was preceded last week by a presentation I had the pleasure of actually presenting to, which was the Premier's Prizes for Science and Engineering. It was hosted by the Governor, who, as you would know, is a proponent of science and technology and learning and knowledge. And we're very lucky to have her because at the drop of the hat, she will host something that premieres New South Wales' contribution in those areas. And we announced the winner, of course, of the Premier's Prize for Science and Engineering as being Professor Jim Patrick. Now, Professor Patrick, you're here tonight, or shortly to arrive. If you're not, you're here in spirit. I don't know. But Jim was one of the original engineers. You know this story well. I mean, it was one that I always carry around with me, and there are others which we build from, that of course came up with the idea of a cochlear implant. All those years ago, it's not folklore, it really has built the narrative that we tell about innovation in Australia. And so that amazing idea was given government support. It saw, of course, that early innovation turn into a company, which we now know is called Cochlear, an internationally renowned company. And yes, it's raised capital and employs, thousands of people worldwide. But I think the most profound thing as a policymaker myself that is important is that it's impacted the lives of so many thousands, possibly millions of people across the globe. And as a member of a government who's elected to represent the whole community in New South Wales, I'm so proud of that, because that is the measure of innovation. It's not how it looks in a test tube or how it trials in certain circumstances. It's how it improves the lives of our people. And they're the stories I love to tell to my colleagues about the profound impact of science and translational research into improving the lives of people. Now, that journey led to the setup of the Medical Devices Fund in 2013, and that will be well known to all of you. So that is a translational research fund, and of course it's led to a lot of investment on the part of the government. I understand $70 million by the government's been invested into over 40 technologies, and that in turn has led gratifyingly to an investment of over $900 million in external capital to government, so the multiplier effect that our small investment can make. The recipient, of course, going on to another story that may be known to you as well, is that one of MDF's first investments was in Elastogen Proprietary Limited, as they're now known, developing a product that was identical to the human skin, and of course that has multiple practical implications for the treatment of a number of skin conditions. And so Elastogen then got another round of funding, and finally it was acquired by Allergan, who acquired Elastogen for over $120 million. So you can see the trajectory of some of the early participants in the Medical Devices Fund, which of course is a predecessor of the Physical Sciences Fund, which my good friend Hugh Durrant-White started up in its image. Tony, as I called out before, but is with us in spirit, is one of the 5 people that I mentioned who sit on our expert panel for the PSF, as we know it, and the reason that we gathered here tonight. It's in its 3rd year, and it was launched truly because of the success of the MDF. And as Hugh and I know well, and any of you who have dealt with Treasury boffins in government, there's nothing like being able to make an argument that you have a successful product and you want more of the same thing. So it's been very useful for garnering resourcing around translational funding, because we had that wonderful, magnificent example of the impact of the Medical Devices Fund way back. We are gathered, as you would see, to celebrate what are 7 innovations, which are set out in this wonderful booklet. And it includes a robotic system, which I was fascinated by, which can clean buildings, high-rise buildings, from the outside. It's always struck me that's such a hazardous job that I would never, ever want to see that performed through some innovative technology, I think is just fabulous. A technology aimed at radically increasing the energy efficiency of green hydrogen product, a revolutionary Wi-Fi system for mines communications, and a couple of ideas around agricultural production. And as I said, 2 of them have been birthed out of Cicada Innovations, which is really great. So there's a wonderful circularity I was trying to point out in the narrative that I've just outlined, that we had, Cochlear, which led to MDF, MDF, which helped the success of Cochlear, MDF, which has birthed PSF, and here we are now in the 3rd year of the PSF to deliver more innovations that come from the great ideas that you amongst us have. I did mention our new scientist of the year, Jim Patrick, and it was entirely fitting, of course, that his research was honoured in 2021, particularly because I think as I mentioned with the Premier's remarks out of the Bradfield speech, his very strong support for the work that Hugh and I have done in the form of $62 million of funding for our various programs that have come out of our turning jobs into ideas, accelerating research and development action plan in New South Wales. And the argument I made to the former Premier about this and why it was important for her to adopt this action plan, which she launched at the beginning of this year, was that I truly believe that our state had so many great ideas, and we had all the ingredients to make sure that those ideas became more than ideas. They could become jobs, future industries. And my thought, which she was game enough to accept, was that, you know, the government had a very long, strong, proud investment into hard infrastructure. You can't but stumble upon it when you're anywhere in New South Wales, around hospitals, around rail, road, our transportation system, our schools across New South Wales. And that indeed had been a lever for economic recovery, particularly coming out of COVID. But we should be able to also sustain, for all the good reasons that we have great research, a global city, fantastic universities, we should be able to sustain a soft infrastructure agenda that would take those amazing ideas that we know have been in our economy here in New South Wales for a long time and help them be translated into jobs and future industries. Gratifyingly, as I said, she joined Hugh and I at the Australian Field Robotics Centre in Chippendale, where we launched the action plan. And the action plan was guided by an amazing group of people who are national, if not international, thought leaders, led by David Gonski. And their cautioning to me was, when we started that journey towards the action plan, that we needed three things, which I remember being explained to me and agreeing to sign up to. One was that we had a plan. Well, that's easy, but maybe not so easy at the same time. That we have a method of executing against that plan, which we now have in the form of Investment New South Wales, which is a new agency of government sitting at the heart of government in the Department of Premier and Cabinet. And then that we have budget, because we know that good ideas are great, but as the PSF knows only too well, needs a little bit of money to kick it along the way. And so we have the budget, we have the execution capability, and we have the plan. So I'm very proud of the work that I've done with you to deliver on those key markers that were set up early on by some of the amazing people that have been part of this journey. Two comments I wanted to make about that plan that are complementary to the work that we do in the translational research funding space. And one is, you will shortly see an announcement around the first tranche of our Small Business Innovation Research Program. This is not a unique program. It has been used to great effect, as you would know, over decades in the US. But the concept is a simple and kind of very clarifying one for government. As a group, the advisory committee to the action plan really came up with three levers, I suppose, where they felt that a state could propel innovation and ideas into new industries. And that was by way of the procurement dollar that we have in the economy. We have a $30 billion that we spend in the economy, and why shouldn't we use that dollar to have new innovative solutions to our procurement requests that we put out? And so the SBIR responds to that by issuing challenges from agencies around discrete problems that we want to be solved. But why shouldn't they be solved? By using an innovative idea which is tested and curated by the agency concerned and supported through training and through money and mentoring through our SBIR program. So, you know, some of those ideas that came forward from the department were great. They were things like, you know, how do we recycle PPE in our hospital system? You know, it always used to worry me that, you know, you would see all of us are donning PPE daily, maybe not so much now, but definitely in the hospital system. It all went to landfill as far as I could assess. You know, so one of the challenges from Health New South Wales was, is there a way we could recycle that PPE? Another challenge that was close to my heart, having served as Environment Minister, was a problem that I thought we'd actually cracked a solution to, but we hadn't cracked a holistic solution to, which was how do we count koalas in place? And we'd set some targets for ourselves in government for increasing the koala population in New South Wales. But the only way we could really test that we had increased the population was to be able to actually count the population in situ. And so one of the other of the 5 challenges was from the Department of Environment to say, let's look at an innovative solution to count koalas. And so that is one of the 5 challenges. So anyhow, watch this space. Very shortly, if not into the new year, we will announce those that have got through the first assessment of innovative product and provide them with $100,000 to then look further at the innovative solution they are actually offering up to a government problem. At the other end of the spectrum, we have, of course, a mission. I mean, all of those of you that are much more expert at me at how you create an innovative economy know that the mission, where you have this big problem that government itself can't alone solve, or business or universities or research, are the way to bring together a decadal challenge where you need all of those stakeholders to be engaged and to bring bits of the solution together. So at the end of the budget process, the Treasurer, now Premier, announced with me $28 million that will go towards a mission which is purposed to better bushfire preparation and response. And so I say, watch this space. One of the programs under that mission we will shortly announce as well. And we're working very closely, which is the benefit of the work that Hugh and I are doing at the centre of government, with our agencies that actually respond in time and in place to bushfires. So RFS, Resilience New South Wales, chaired by Shane Fitzsimons, who would be known to you. So we really want to make sure that we're not just creating innovative solutions and programs in isolation from the government agencies that do the work at the front line. So you can see through those programs that we are really trying to use the government levers to drive innovation. We are not the Commonwealth Government. We don't drive immigration policy. We don't have tax policy to really drive our innovation, but we can use our procurement dollar. We can use our call to arms around a problem. And the last thing I would say is we can use our convening powers to create precincts where that innovation best takes place. Because calling out a precinct, making it vibrant with facilities that are in place and tenanting people in those places is another way in which you get great innovation happening without the government forcing it. And I would just like to mention, of course, our three major priority innovation precincts, one of which this Sydney Startup Hub is part of, which is the Tech Precinct, Tech Central, which we launched just a week ago, actually, with a quantum terminal as the first down payment towards that, a scale-up hub, and good things to come, but with a real focus on digital and data. And then, of course, there's Aerotropolis, where we're going to have our airport, where we're building a new city from the ground up. And, of course, that's another priority of the government, together with both local government and federal government. And the final priority precinct is at Westmead, which is a very evolved, mature precinct with its focus on clinical services and research. Now, of course, there are the regional precincts through our special activation precincts. We call them our SAPs. And so there's also a real commitment on the part of the government to drive those precincts outside metropolitan Sydney. So I want to thank you all for putting your hands up to be part of what I really believe is an energising job creation, industry creation part of our economy. I want you to feel that we understand the important role that we play, or you play, in our innovation economy, that you will have more support than you've traditionally expected from government, that we will be an open door for you, but we'll also provide you with the small amounts of money in the scheme of things to get you through the valley of death, that will get you from conception of an idea to something that can then be scaled up, and others in the innovation investment system will take up and run with. We have a critical role to play in that translational research piece. And our announcements tonight really reward your bravery, your innovation, your ideas with that support when you need it. So in anticipation of the announcements, I want to congratulate those 7 companies, all of the blood, sweat and tears that I know that have gone into the point where you're now here with us tonight to get the money, a nice drink and good company, but congratulations again on behalf of the New South Wales Government.
Thank you very much, Gabrielle. And I would say everything resonates with what you said. There's lots to be celebrated and looking forward to. But the biggest thing is impact. I think that was the thing that really resonated. And one thing that we always get people to do when we meet researchers and clinicians at a really early stage is to zoom out. You never know where your technology could be applied and what it could be used for. And I'd also like to thank both of you for all the work that you're doing, both Hugh and Gabrielle. And with that, I'd like to also invite Hugh to the stage to say his address.
So good to see so many people whom I know and the community, and also when we have a great Tech 23 today. There's lots happening, it's fantastic. I want to start by thanking Gabrielle. You've got to look at where we were a year ago, and we didn't have much more than we had 3 or 4 years ago, and this year has been transformational. Not only have we got lots more funding and many more programs, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, but frankly, there's been an attitude change completely in our colleagues in governments. Everybody's all over the research thing now. They think they invented it, incidentally, and that's okay. There's the beavers down at the bottom, who are trying to help everybody, Josie and everyone else in this room, Christina. But in the end, Gabrielle has sold the message that we as a community need to be sold at the political level to really try and make a difference. And for that, I think we've got to thank her actually this year. Secondly, I need to thank Bruce, who gamefully makes me notes, which I completely ignore, and who organises Premier's Prizes, who organises physical sciences evenings and so on. Well done, Bruce. I know it's a thankless task writing me notes, but nevertheless. So it has been a fantastic year. I mean, people say, oh, it's been a miserable year. We've been locked down and everything else. It's been fantastic for science. It's been fantastic for innovation. We've launched a whole range of new programs. And I don't think it's just us, actually. I genuinely feel there's a seed change going on right across the community. And even then, not just in New South Wales. A fantastic article, I don't know whether you all caught it, in The Economist a couple of weeks ago about the VC industry, which is just exponential at this point, and no longer just software sitting in Silicon Valley, all right? It's everything. It's in hydrogen, it's in medtech, it's in all kinds of new ideas. I try and explain to Investment New South Wales the pointlessness of government almost investing in this anymore. Single venture capital funds in the US in the green energy space have $1 trillion to invest. Okay? We just have to make it possible. All right, to get these people in here and get them to invest in this sort of stuff as well. So our role is to really make that happen. But equally, we just talked about a few of them. SBIR is a key program because we can be a customer, and that's what companies really want more than anything else. The Emerging Industries Fund, which I think is again key, trying and invest by looking forwards rather than in the rearview mirror. So the semiconductor sector, it's interesting. We started this program, Ingrid will remember, 2 years ago with Jim Rebu at Sydney Uni. Nobody was interested in semiconductors. Now everybody's all over it, the federal government and so on. So we really have to get this out the door and really start building on it. And already people have approached me at trying to, for external investors coming to that sector. And next year, don't want to pre-guess it, but things like synthetic biology, other sorts of things, I think there are areas that we've really got to make a play in now so that we genuinely have those industries in the future. And again, new ways of working. So mission-oriented research, again, it's been out there. People have published books on this sort of thing. But we have to be there trying to build communities with our comparative advantages that genuinely will not just support great research, but really encourage people to translate that and be proud about making money out of it. We used to have a thing in NICTA where we handed out, big novelty checks to people, who were spinning out, with $1 million written on them. And boy, was that a good motivator, all right? And I think we just need to adopt that practice across universities and so on. I'm not sure everyone liked the idea, but it really did motivate people to do the right thing. And I think the community's there to do that, the support's there to do that. Again, I have to thank people like Martin over there, who tirelessly has given us advice about good companies, bad companies, investment, and so on. So Main Sequence, Square Peg, all of these things who are really trying to help us do these things. And David Shine, who chaired the SBIR panel, which Sally was on as well, and so on. So really trying to drive those sort of differences. So it really has changed. And I will say also, my view is we're only at the beginning of it. I mean, a little bit slack, frankly, to think to my surprise, the Premier announced we're going to have a Department of Science and Innovation in the state, right? I think it's good news. I hope we're not recording this. But I genuinely think there's that seed change, which means that, it's with the government supporting it more than actually just doing it. We've got to have that support to attract people, to make it a good environment, to make sure our universities are engaged and properly sort of, part of that whole big ecosystem. So it's really been great. It's been fantastic. I'm looking forward actually to the year ending now, so we can get on with something new. So, on to the PDF. So, it was really interesting. I've often wondered, what is the role of government in supporting new startups? And sometimes people say, well, it's just a bucket of money. It's not, actually. In some sense, good piece of advice Martin gave me early on is don't try and replace the private sector. okay? There is money out there for good ideas with good people who genuinely understand how to build a business, all right? What we have to do is to support people to get to that point, all right? That is the role of the MDF. That is the role, all right, of the PSF. It's not to fund some big startup, but it's to get them to the point where they genuinely can get that private investment and grow and be something else. Yes, we have other functions, bringing you all together, making sure the community's there, making sure you're connected to all the researchers and things like that, but that's what PSF ultimately is about. And so it's important that we carry on with this funding because no one else at this point will do it. All right, and that's what makes PSF and MDF, I think, a very, very valuable thing. So there's been some, PSF is still at its early stage. Again, patience is a thing. I keep on trying to persuade my new Investment New South Wales colleagues. Quantum physics was not invented yesterday when you did quantum terminal. We've been investing in it for 15 years, all right? And gradually you create that capacity and it will spin out into companies. And we have got some great local companies now. Control Q, Control C is something else, isn't it? Control Q, Q Control, got it, check, roger that. A lot of other sorts of companies like that, where I think Quantum Brilliance, various other companies that are really doing well. It's because we've made those investments in the research community and brought them out. And likewise for PSF. I've just been talking to one of the guys involved in Nextdoor. We have a few relationships there. That's going to be a fantastic success. You can see it from here. And that's really important for building the centre community in an area, mining, where we genuinely have some comparative advantage. I think carbonics in the drones area, again, really interesting stuff that's going on, and things like the Bushfire Technologies program is going to drive, I think, the use of drones in a completely different way than we have been in the past. And also the Wi-Fi area. We have a long, long history of producing really good communications companies in this state. And I see over there David, one of the early founders in this area. I think that's a very important area. And again, we need to be investing in these. There are lots of great new ideas out there, and we need to be building on them. And again, things like the new semiconductor investment is a step in that kind of right direction. So I think those are the sorts of things that will come out of the PSF. And today, we've got 7 great technologies. So, are they all going to be a success? Probably not. Do they all want to be a success? Absolutely. All right, and that's why we need to be funding them and supporting them and making sure that they are investable into the future. I really, again, want to thank our expert panel. It is, believe me, because I do the MDF, this is a tough process. You get 60 fantastic applications, and frankly, it's pretty tough going to triage those, to understand who you should be working with, whether they're actually investable. We struggle a little bit sometimes, really, really good idea, not such a great team. Or perhaps a really great team, not a great idea. Sometimes you'd like them to actually sit in the room and beat each other up, that kind of thing. But that's the process that I think you need to go through here. So, Annabelle, thank you for chairing the Motley crew. Simon, Paul, your expertise, fantastic. Martin, your advice and input into this and other programs has been really, really fantastic. And Tony, of course, who is here, really, not just virtually, and himself has been through this route himself, so has that kind of expertise. And lastly, I want to thank Rosa Mal, who isn't here this evening, but she's been a fantastic technical expertise in this panel. She is standing down after 3 years of hard effort, so we'll be looking for another research-oriented person, I think, to join the panel and provide that. But it's been fantastic, and her role has been very, very, very highly valued. And I also need to thank, frankly, the way we manage this, of course, is we have lots of other people in subcommittees who do all the big triaging, and we do this in the MDF as well, and that's that expertise that comes from the entire community that really makes this thing, these sorts of things happen. And finally, of course, I want to thank our successful grant recipients. It takes a lot of courage. I've done a lot of startups myself. And what I learned very early on is I'm no good at running a company. I'm just a technologist, all right? So get someone who knows how to make money, who wants to make money, who thinks money to run the company, and then you get someone to do it. And you really need a lot of courage, because sometimes you don't get the kind of backing. I think today is different, right? But you really need to sort of stick your neck out, put your rest of your life on hold and go for it, and really be confident in your technology. And everybody, there's so many good ideas, and I really, really want to see these being successful and it really, really happening in New South Wales. These are the impacts that we want for the state. New economies, new industries, smart people. The fact that we view you as successors, all right, are the most important thing. And I think you should walk away from this with the money, but also knowing that the government is backing you. all right? And we really want you to be successful. So well done to everybody today. Thank you very much. Probably read the notes, shouldn't I? I should read the notes. I apologise. I'd like to introduce Annabelle, the chair of the PSF.
And it's a little bit... Thank you. It's actually a little daunting speaking after Gabrielle and Hugh, as you can well imagine. They are both very skilled at this, but it is my very great pleasure to be here this evening. It's a great pleasure to have been able to chair the panel for the third year in a row. I must say, of all the things I do with my life these days when I am supposedly retired, this is the most fun. It's the most fun because of the people that I meet, the people that have the bright ideas. You are a remarkable group of people, you really are, and it's a huge amount of fun. It's also a huge amount of fun trying to corral the cats and do a really great job with them. They are almost impossible to control, but they're great fun to work with, so thank you all. But look, we have more awards this year than we have ever had before, which is wonderful. And this year's winners, we've got groundbreaking methods for making green hydrogen. We've got a robot that safely cleans high-rise buildings. And I must say, last week I was in Sydney. I was staying in a hotel, and the building next door was having the windows cleaned. And I thought of you all. And I thought, that poor man, he's going to be out of work soon, but he's going to be much safer than he is at the moment. We've got an autonomous system for underwater hull cleaning, long-range Wi-Fi systems for mines, and quite a lot of in agricultural innovations, which are really going to make a very, very big difference, and one for making the green hydrogen. So it's really just my job to thank the panel members, Rose, who can't be here, and we are really sorry that she's stepping down. She was a very powerful member of the group. Martin Dersma, Simon Paul, and Tony Weiss. You are a pleasure to work with. It is a really great job. Hugh mentioned it's been a very strange year, and it has been. So much has happened in the last 12 months, despite the fact that we've been in lockdown. The one big regret that I've got is that this is the first time I'm getting to see any of you in person. I really like meeting up with you, and in the past we've been able to do that in interviews, so it's lovely to see you now face to face, and I hope we can get a chance to chat afterwards. So I like also to thank the subcommittee who does that triage in the first instance, and that helps us with our workload dramatically. And of course, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Gabrielle and for Hugh's support. Very, very important that they have got this through and that they continue to support it. The other thing, though, is that while we get the fun work of actually reading through it, yes, it's a lot of work, Hugh, but it is really interesting work to do when you read what's going on in the place. But the reason that it works so smoothly is that we have a team that supports us in Hugh's office. So Jaren, Chris, Edward and Bruce, thank you. Bruce, my notes are as dog-eared as they were last time you prepared some for me, but they work, so thank you. And I'd like to thank all of this year's applicants for their innovative ideas, and to sincerely congratulate all of tonight's winners. Your projects do represent the very best of innovation in New South Wales. I'm excited that I've been able to play a part in supporting your ideas, and I will continue to follow you with great interest as you take them forward. So, and you've got to prove Hugh wrong, all 7 of you. All 7 of you are going to succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Annabelle. I just want to point out something that I noticed on the other side of the room while I was standing there. So Hugh very passionately said, "Make it possible." And then on the wall, I don't know if Bruce has gone all out, but it says, "Make it happen." So this is just my mind. So I just want to say again, thank you to everyone that's contributed to this mission and vision. Obviously, that takes a lot of people doing a lot of hard work. So yeah, well done to everybody involved. Now we have the moment that we've probably all been waiting for as well. Not that everybody's talks haven't been fantastic and inspiring, but it's time to hear from some of the recipients. We're going to put a video on the screen here so we can roll the digital tape, and then we'll come back up and have a chat.
The Physical Sciences Fund is a competitive development and commercialisation program for taking the best research and technology developed in New South Wales through to commercial products. The Physical Sciences Fund is what we talk of as a research translation fund. We take the best that there is in research and new ideas and new innovation and provide enough funding to take it through commercialisation to the point where it's investable by private funds and private equity. It's based on a number of other research translation funds which have demonstrated considerable success over a number of years.
The New South Wales Physical Science Fund helps companies to deal with the valley of death through enabling them to commercialise their inventions. It keeps the IP and the people in New South Wales while at the same time delivering economical, social and environmental benefits to New South Wales. In a short time, it's helped many companies in agri-tech, satellite communications, robotics, artificial intelligence and in mining. This year's Physical Science Fund has been the biggest round that we've ever had, and we've funded 7 companies.
GrowWave is an agriculture technology company that developed a microwave generator unit that can be integrated with tractors to deliver highly efficient microwave energy into the top soils and to remove weeds and the seed banks and to control the crop disease. This technology offers a more effective solution, penetrating the target and destroying cell structure permanently before the seeding can begin.
Hullbot is a Sydney-based company whose mission is to develop autonomous robots for cleaner oceans. Their Hullbot One system combines a range of technologies including AI and machine learning together with advanced sensors and underwater navigation to allow remote operation underwater for applications such as cleaning yachts, cleaning ships and monitoring of underwater life. The Hullbot One system is being developed in particular to reduce the need for biofouling paint to be applied to the underside of yachts. By cleaning the yachts regularly, it's not necessary to apply as much toxic chemicals as are currently used, leading to cleaner waters.
Leaf is a company that aims to increase crop yield. It does this by harnessing the power of sunlight. Leaf, which stands for luminescent light emitting agriculture film, does this by shifting the spectrum of natural light to a more optimal wavelength that improves its crop outgrowth cycle and increases yield. The PSF fund will support Leaf in its progress towards its first product, which is called Leaf Red, along the commercialisation pathway to market.
Defy High Robotics is an exciting venture from 2 female founders who are going to take their existing window cleaning business to a new level. The Bear, or Building Envelope Access Robot, is a robotic system that will be able to clean windows of commercial high-rise buildings and inspect facades using various sensors, cameras and artificial intelligence. As our cities get bigger and our buildings taller, technology such as the Bear will allow these services to be undertaken better, faster, cheaper and most importantly safer, with less risk to human safety.
Rubuck is a New South Wales based company that has partnered with Sydney University to develop a novel long-range Wi-Fi system for underground mines. As anybody who has a Wi-Fi system at home knows, there is a limit to how far the signal can travel and how much the bandwidth drops off as you get to the extent of the range. For the underground mine system, Sydney University have developed a novel way of programming commercially available Wi-Fi systems to give an extended range suitable for up to 1,000 metres. The systems will be developed and manufactured by Rubuck in New South Wales for both global and domestic markets.
HiSata is a company that has spun out from University of Wollongong to commercialize a new type of hydrogen electrolyzer, one that can deliver cheap renewable hydrogen and bring the Australian government's $2 per kilogram target within reach. With the green hydrogen industry expected to grow rapidly in the next few years, the development of a highly efficient electrolyzer is timely in accelerating decarbonization of hard-to-abate sectors like heavy transport and steel production.
Sensitime is an ag tech company that uses soil moisture sensing technology to accurately place seeds in the soil, and it does this in order to maximize crop uniformity, increasing crop yields and productive seasons. Sensitine's smart seeder captures live data through smart sensors, analyzes this information through an onboard processor, and it then uses this information to feed that data to an electronically controlled smart row unit to vary the depth of seed placement to get optimal results for the planted seeds.
The Physical Sciences Fund has been running now for 3 years and has supported many companies in their vision to grow their companies and build their products. We look forward to supporting many more innovative companies over the coming years.
Okay, so there you have it. They're the incredible technologies we're going to be hearing from a little later. So we're now going to do the formal presentation. I would like to invite Gabrielle to come up and stand on the other side of the stage in front of the screen of the sign. And then I'm going to ask each of the recipients to come up one by one when I say their name for their moment of recognition and celebration. Please don't forget to have your photo taken with Gabrielle at the other side of the stage. It's a very important part of this. And yeah, then we'll keep going after that. And Hugh, okay. Both of them. All good to go? Okay. So first up, we have Dr. Abby Whiddon, co-founder of Defy High Robotics, who are receiving $800,000 to develop a robotic device, and Melinda, co-founder Melinda as well, to conduct window cleaning. Oh, good photo time! Excellent! Congratulations, ladies. Yeah, the novelty check's missing. Second up, we have Liam Hescock, Chief Product Officer of GrowWave, who will be receiving $533,000 to develop their microwave-based system to control weed growth and pathogens. This is the new handshake, folks. Noted by everyone else who comes up. It's a cross shake. If you haven't got that down, congratulations. We have Carl Watford, co-founder and CTO of Hullbot, who are receiving $1,058,435 to develop the boat cleaning bot. Yep. Nail the handshake, folks. Many congratulations. And we have Dr. Jerry Swiggers, CTO of Hysata, who is receiving $500,000 to commercialize the water electrolysis system that was presented. This is now a thing. Congratulations. And then we have Alex Soriati, CEO of Leaf, who is receiving $283,480 to develop this sunlight harnessing tech. You know the drill. Woo! Congratulations. Now I invite Henry Gong, General Manager of Rubuck, who are receiving $800,000 to develop the long-range Wi-Fi system. Big congrats! Well done. And finally, we have David Finlay, CEO of Sensitine, who are receiving $703,590,000. No, I didn't get that right. $703,590. Something large for the smart seeder. Many congratulations. Too fast? There's an official photo somewhere. So a big round of applause to all of you. Congratulations. You should be really proud. And we're going to have a quick chat with all of you. So I'm going to take a moment while we have some stools put up on stage. We're going to swap Henry from Rubuck for Dane, who is the R&D manager. Yeah, and we'll take it away. Need a hand with anything? Oh, you got it. So I'll invite all of you that are representing your companies to come on up and take a seat on the stage, please. Congrats. Thank you. Okay, hope I'm not blocking you. So, we've got a couple of mics which we will have to pass around. So again, congrats folks. Big long line here, it's very exciting. I guess this is a chance for us to talk a little bit more and hear more from you directly. So I'm going to start with a question that, I'm a scientist by trade. One of the first things I had to learn was to communicate, and I still have trouble with it, but we're getting there. And one of the things that we ask people to do is what Sally, our CEO, often asks people to do is a barbecue test. So it's, if somebody, like my parents who don't have a tertiary education, wanted to know what you were doing, could you please tell us a little bit about what you're developing? And then just tack on to the end, the why. Why are you doing this, and what motivated you to do it? And whoever's got the microphone on this side gets to kick us off, so you get to go first, Alex.
Hi everyone, thank you very much. My name is Alex from Leaf. So very simple, we make material that change the wavelength of light. So we take some of the unusable light, not as effective light, into a more usable light to increase the plant to grow.
And what's your why?
The why is I grew up in the agriculture sector, and we know one of the biggest industry in the agriculture is pesticides, nutrition and all that. So there's a lot of ways to increase yield of plants, but we look up and then, why don't we use the sunlight better? And that's why.
Excellent. On the other side, Jerry.
Yeah, hello everyone. We're very passionate about decarbonisation and reaching net zero in 2050. If you look at certain types of sectors in our economy, heavy transport, ships, trains, aircraft, it's very difficult, if it's impossible, to decarbonise them using batteries. And the only really viable alternative is to use green hydrogen, which is hydrogen that's produced from renewable energy. That hydrogen has got a very high energy density, and so it can be used to decarbonise these difficult to abate sectors, and that's what we are planning to do.
Excellent. And why, is that part of your why? Is that what made you do this particular technology? Because I know you're a serial entrepreneur.
Yes, I've been passionate about making hydrogen for many years, probably 20 years. And I actually have already developed a technology that has been commercialized. So this is my second time around. What we're focusing on is to do it very efficiently. Up to, at the present time, it can be done. Green hydrogen can be made, and it is being made, but it's not very efficient. About 25% of the energy is wasted as heat. And so that is why the cost of green hydrogen is not competitive with fossil fuels. But with our technology, we are hoping to make it very much competitive.
Thank you. Okay, David, you've got the next mic. Barbecue test.
Probably for us, we have a mechanical product development company in Orange, and we do a lot of work in the ag sort of sector. Mm-hmm. Some years ago, we had an issue with a client who was broadacre seeding. They were putting chickpeas down to 10, 12 inches. They were 500 horsepower tractors burning 90 litres of fuel a hectare, and they were ripping this gear apart. And our problem was to try and make the machine stronger. And ultimately, we couldn't do it. It was just too much. But we had an opportunity to go on farm, and what we found was that realistically there was a lot of variability going on within the soil. Farmers sort of knew what was kind of going on there, but not exactly. They were using shovels to determine this, but they knew it was different on the other side of the fence. They knew it was on the different side of the creek, but they had no means of easily responding to that. To reset up the air seeder was a full day's work. So we had some other work that we were doing in a mining space where we were playing with some sensors, and we started using that to map the soil and dealing with that data in real time to sort of optimise that as we go, and it's probably evolved from there, I suppose. Yeah.
Excellent. Classic case of applying something to something else. Awesome.
Yeah, my name's Liam from GrowWave, and we're electrifying weed management within agriculture, and we do that through using microwave technology. And so this really enables us to actually get below the surface or in the plant and take out disease, which inherently will decrease their cost on herbicides and pesticides, and also increase yield across agriculture. You know, food's an important part. And I think why do we do this? We've got to improve how we do agriculture at the present, and that's kind of been driven through regulation, which is kind of just limiting what farmers can actually use. And then also the weeds are getting smarter. They're actually resistant to chemicals, and they're actually, you know, outsmarting us. So I think the way we do it, we're coming in with a new approach that will enable it to be sustainable, electrical, and, you know, really improve our food production system.
Thanks, Liam. Carl.
Hi, I'm Carl from Hobart. We have designed the most advanced autonomous underwater robot platform. It's an underwater drone. It's designed completely from the ground up to remove biofouling from boat hulls. This is a global problem. It's very expensive to apply anti-fouling paint. It's extremely toxic. It increases CO2 emissions when you have a fouled vessel. And ultimately, Tom and I, the other co-founder, struck upon a solution which is an autonomous underwater robot that can go down and physically remove that fouling early and often. So this uses advanced robotics and underwater robotics, which is quite a difficult field. I guess the why would be we believe in robots for healthy oceans. We think our platform can actually do a lot more than just clean boat hulls. We think it can inspect, map, do asset management, risk management and mitigation, and many other things along the way.
Fabulous. Thank you. Okay, Dane.
Hi everyone, my name is Dane Zielinski-Nicholson. I'm the R&D manager at Rubok, and together through a partnership with the University of Sydney, we have developed a long-range Wi-Fi system for underground mines and agriculture. For the why, it's very difficult to introduce a new product into the mining space when they have already invested so much into existing infrastructure. And so what's special about our project is it's completely compatible with the existing 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi commonly used in Australian mines. So Australia has a global reputation for safety in underground mines, and that's because they've invested so much in Wi-Fi and wireless technologies. And by incorporating the long-range Wi-Fi from Rubok and the University of Sydney, hopefully they should be able to expand the areas of Wi-Fi coverage and introduce Wi-Fi coverage to mines that might not have the capital to invest in this safety technology.
Thank you very much, Dane. And last but not least, Abby.
Thank you very much. My name's Abby Whiddon. At the moment, if you look at the commercial buildings around Sydney and any other major city, to get to the outside of the building, to clean the windows or inspect the facade, you have to either abseil over the side or go in a building maintenance unit. And we have a commercial window cleaning company. Melinda started that. And we found that not only do the building owners and the facility managers prefer not to have people going over the side of the building, they find it a bit dangerous. But you know, the buildings are expensive. They've got managers employed whose job is to systemically reduce risk. Nobody likes the reputational damage. No one wants to have somebody hurt on the job. And so we wondered if there might be another way of doing it. So we came up with the BEAR, the Building Envelope Access Robot. Oliver and Tom helped us to create it over the last 18 months. And through the Physical Sciences Fund, we've got Project Yogi Bear to make it smarter than the average bear.
I love it.
And so we're going to make it more autonomous and put more AI in, so that more of the jobs can be done even more safely, better, and faster and cheaper.
Fabulous. Love the name. So there's a huge skill set shift that sometimes happens when you come from a different environment. Some of you may be in academia, some of you may come from the field or some other areas. I wanted to ask a couple of you about the skills that you've had to learn that you didn't have before, now that you're on a commercialisation journey. And so I might throw this question to 4 of you, Alex, David, Liam and Jerry. So we might start with Alex again and then move around.
You pick on me, Derek.
Well, it's just a circular thing I'm following.
So I'm an academics until about 2 years ago. I was a researcher in UNSW. I think the main skills that I have to learn is obviously talking in front of a crowd. I think 2 years ago I will be sweating or really uncomfortable, but now it's much better, and Cicada helped a lot with that, obviously. Another skill that I just decided that I give up is to do sales. So because I just give up doing that, so I just find a partner who is good in that, and that's why Chris is here, who's good in sales and business.
Who needs sales, you know? Just kidding. I should not advocate for that. David, you're next.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose ours is a bit more from the design and the mechanics of it. We've got a system that is still, you know, our machine that we're about to build is going to weigh 20 tonne. It's steel, it's heavy, it's driven by big hydraulic cylinders and valves, but behind all that's this brain that's relying on sensors. So for us, our challenges so far have been trying to find the balance of getting mechanical strength to sort of co-align with electronics and the inherent issues we have there, sort of trying to drive valves based on an electronic sort of signal. So for us, I suppose it's been very much from the drawing board side of it, trying to get that across the line, which we've managed to achieve, I suppose. Yeah.
Good, well done. Liam, have you got a mic? Oh, Jerry, whoever, you two. Either of you is fine.
Okay. Yeah, I've been doing commercialisation for, as I say, 20 years. And I think the thing that I found really fantastic about it, and I still love, is the fact that it's so multidisciplinary. I come from very much an academic background. So when I did my first spin out, I was quite astonished at the variety of different people I had to deal with. You know, engineers, I'm a chemist, engineers, you know, marketing people, strategists, you know, legals. There's a whole range of different people, investors. There's a whole range of different people involved, and I really find it quite thrilling, and it's the thing that really, for me, that I really love in commercialisation is dealing with the many different types of people and seeing they all have different viewpoints and different ways of coming at the problem, and it's a common problem, which is to get your technology out to the market and successful.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, well said. I think in any young company you need to have a lot of skills, so I've probably grown in every single one of them, but I'd say probably in the last year there's a technology that's quite niche in actually how it's done. Supply chain and figuring the right suppliers. I didn't realise I'd be probably writing so many emails to random countries or companies, you know, across Europe, Asia, and so figuring out the supply chain of actually how we're going to build this, because if we build using some products now that doesn't scale, that's quite hard. So I think supply chain for me is a big one. But then also talking to farmers. I've been kind of involved in farming for a fair while, but actually talking to them commercially, not just at the pub, I think has been, you know, another step forward in actually what do they want and what are they going to pay for, not just what do they think's cool and would be quite useful.
Thank you. And to Carl, Dane and Abby, I ask you, what does the funding mean for your idea, and what does it allow you to do next?
Yeah, this funding is amazing, really. It's really, yeah, it's going to launch us a huge way forward. For us, we've developed 5 generations of fully functioning underwater robots, each one progressively getting more autonomous and more capable. Autonomy is just not a switch. It doesn't just go on. It's a journey, and we can use this funding to greatly improve the autonomous functionality of the robots, to expand our team, our base over in Rozelle, to acquire more customers, and to ultimately, commercialise what we think is going to be a groundbreaking worldwide product.
Excellent.
Well, I was going to say that it's going to allow us to make our robot autonomous, but when I just heard 5 generations, I've realised maybe it's going to allow us to start the journey to make it autonomous. We were really bootstrapping this out of the side profits of a commercial window cleaning business when a lot of the buildings have been closed down over the past couple of years. It's been quite a journey to decide to invest in it and to keep investing in it. And so this is allowing us to hire some people full-time. We're going to build out quite a magnificent team. I think that we've really enjoyed meeting so many potential people to come and work with us. It's going to give us the start that we couldn't have asked for anything better.
100%.
So the funding is absolutely essential for the long-range Wi-Fi project. It's been split between RUBUC and the University of Sydney. It's going to enable the University of Sydney to continue the cutting-edge research that goes into developing their TDMA stack. And it's going to help RUBUC hire more engineers, really get the projects off the ground by allowing us to pilot it at various mines. It's going to enable us to develop new ideas and new technologies that can synchronize with this system. We are wanting to go to other SMEs and get them involved in the project, get them designing a long-range Wi-Fi compatible technology so that they can enter a marketplace that they may not have access to before. But yeah, it's absolutely essential that we've got this PSF, and really looking forward to working on the project.
Woohoo! Yeah, cheers to that. So now I'm going to give everybody a chance to lean in. At Cicada Innovations, we're a really big believer of getting people to lean in and do things and help each other, and that you should always have an ask, no matter who you're talking to, because I think that's super important. So tonight we're going to give everyone a chance to lean in, something we can do to support each other directly, so it's excellent. For the 7 of you, you've got a pretty amazing group of people here that are well networked and very diverse. So in this room, we'd like you to ask, and you can have a second to think about it while I talk to the audience, but what sort of connections you'd like. So it doesn't just have to be customers, it could be advisors or people that you've been needing to get in contact with, key opinion leaders. Is there anything that would help you on this journey in addition to this funding? And to the audience, and those online, we've talked about support as the theme of the night. So this is a chance for you to actually do something proactive tonight. If you've got something that could help these people or someone that could help these people, I encourage you to find them at their tables at the end of the night and offer that, that kind of support, whatever that may be. So yeah, we can kick it off. And if you're online, I don't know where to look, but if you're online, you can also probably reach out to the companies directly because you know their names now. So Abby, you've got the microphone. We'll just pass it along. What's your ask?
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
She's like, I don't know.
Well, I do remember you saying we had a couple of moments. So let me. We are, now that this money is coming across, we've based ourselves over at CSIRO, and we've got quite a nice space set up. We're looking to meet more people who have buildings. We've got... sorry, that's not true. Actually, the thing I thought about, which was quite ridiculous, I have noticed that the New South Wales government has a lot of buildings, and I couldn't help but notice that some of them, none of it has had one of those small business innovation challenges put around it yet.
Okay.
And so I know that that's quite a long step away, but golly gosh, wouldn't that be exciting?
Excellent. Carl.
Yes, thanks, Abby.
Don't try and top it.
Where are my notes? No, I think for us, it's a broad one, but I'd say knowledge, and knowledge in two main areas. One would be the knowledge of commercializing a complex electromechanical system, including something that Leah mentioned before, supply chain resilience management, things like that. We have a few advisors, but we're always looking for more assistance and help in that area. The other is talent. It's a complex product. There's a lot of disciplines of engineering involved, and we need all of them. And so we need really skilled, software, machine learning engineers, artificial intelligence engineers, mechatronics, mechanical, electrical, and so we're always looking for good talent.
Excellent. David?
I'm looking back to Gordon to see what his pick list is, but for me, I think we'd be sort of welcome to someone who might be doing some research into soil science and the measurement of soil. So, we kicked off this thing doing soil moisture, and we're now sort of starting to tap into a soil carbon sensor to map soil carbon as we go. And look, I think our little team could benefit from someone who had expertise in that area to be part of what we're doing.
Okay. Go for it.
I'll learn from Abby. So we know that New South Wales have the Aerotropolis project in Badgerys Creek, and agriculture is one of the agribusiness is one of the sector there. So, because one challenge that we have is how to put our product into an existing greenhouse or glass house. So if there is those that is still building, that's a lot of things that we can play with. That would be great to sort of learn together how to put it into what is a greenhouse or a glass house?
Yeah, okay. Cool. Dane?
There's plenty of places where you could help us. Firstly, if you contacted with mine managers who is interested in doing something with long-range Wi-Fi, perhaps people that are looking to expand their current infrastructure, or some people that are currently lacking the infrastructure and can't afford a traditional system. Secondly, as we've seen tonight, New South Wales really is a state of innovation, and there's so many small businesses and research teams out there that are developing cutting-edge technology, and they need an infrastructure to bring these into a mine or agriculture. So if you know any Australian companies that are looking at developing new products, please let us know, particularly if it's in the radiation detection or tracking or V2X environment. That's exactly what we're looking for. We want to make it compatible with long range.
Okay. Is it a question or an offer?
A little comment.
Oh, a comment.
Ladies and first of all, I'm absolute newcomer to your fantastic community. I'm fighting for my whole life to promote the scientific direction which our Prime Minister Morrison was looking for. Where are the newcomers of essentially new directions? And our evening night, I was kindly invited by Honorary Minister to be here. I can tell you, in '75, I was following the invitation to become the first professor of theoretical physics at New South Wales. I came with a background of very sophisticated, long years work of energy production with lasers. And this is a field which just during the last few years became so important in the world. The United States top think tank, the institutions of science, so the academies of science, engineering and medicine.
Thank you.
Where
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. We're just going to listen to the two last people, and then we can mingle maybe and have a
Yes,
chat
okay.
together. Is
But
that
I
okay?
can only say, it's not saying much. I write my appreciation to the minister and to all the other
Thank
people.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Round of applause. Okay, I'm going to give you that. Jerry.
Thanks very much. Yeah, well, we're always interested in customers, and we'd be interested in anyone who wants to do something with green hydrogen, either replace their existing use of hydrogen or export green hydrogen. But what people out there could do, and for us, is we are really in need of talent. I think that was mentioned. We need really good people in many, many different fields: engineering, mechanical engineers, chemical engineers, computer engineers, electrochemical engineers, you name it, we probably need it. Please do consider contacting us if you're interested and passionate in decarbonisation.
Liam.
Yeah, to wrap up. Yeah, people's key
A lot of
any
people
bidders.
need people.
But I'll make one or two specific ones, I guess. One will be kind of in RF simulation. It's a pretty reasonably niche field, but if anyone knows some really excellent people there. And then also people that have scaled hardware. Would love to have a chat.
Cool.
And try and take some learnings before I make the same mistake. So.
Okay. All right. So I was going to say a few more things, but I am very conscious that I'd like everyone to get a chance to talk to these guys. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is they have display tables over here where they'll be standing. So if you have any of those connections that you can offer them, please go up to the table, have a chat to them, help them, talk to them, all of those things. I'd like to thank you all for coming today. Thank the people that are online with us. Congratulate our recipients one more time because they're excellent and they're going to do amazing things. Thank you to Gabrielle, who has had to go, so thank her for coming to help present the awards, and of course to all of the team behind this. It must be really awesome to see this initiative coming to life and keep on kicking goals each year, and we look forward to round 4, which is apparently opening in March. Keep an eye out, or an ear out, whichever way it happens, and encourage people to apply. If you know someone who could excel and get some funding to get an amazing idea off the ground, it is our job as a community to get around them, rally behind them, and push them forward. So I'm not going to say much more than that, apart from the fact that it's a team sport. It is a team sport, and startup is going to be a long journey for all of these people, but they're doing excellent. You've got started. Woohoo, the future's bright. Well done. Congratulations, guys. And yeah, enjoy yourselves networking and having a drink.
Congratulations.